MSC 426, period 2, September 1st, Monday, day 4. So the agenda for today is we're going to correct finishing the homework number 7, C through F, and we won't get to binomial division today, nor will we get to group factoring. So today's video is going to be mostly over page 157, correcting 7 through F. And that is binomial division. So we'll do a little review of long division step by step, and we'll look at this example. So in this case here, you have a dividend of 4,352, and you want to divide it by 17, the divisor. Doing by long division, we see that 4,352 is the divisor and the dividend. So 4,352 divided by 17. So we look at this and we say we want to divide 4,352 by 17. First we look at, does 17 divided into 4? No. Does 17 divide into 43? Yes, it does. So we look at how many times. We have to try a little bit of trial and error. We see that the most that 17 will divide into 43 is 2 times. So we multiply through. 2 times 7 is 14. You bring the 4 here, and you carry the 1 over here. Then you multiply. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. You have a 3. And the next thing you do is you subtract 43 minus 34. So 13 minus 4 is 9. And 3 minus 3 is 0. So the next thing you do is you bring it down to 5. You have 95. You look at how many times 17 divides evenly into 95. It divides in evenly at the most 5 times. So you multiply it through. 5 times 7 is 35. So you put the 3 there and you write the 5 there. And then you take 5 times 1 is 5, and you add 3 is 8. Then you subtract again. 95 minus 85. You subtract those. You take 5 minus 5 is 0. 9 minus 8 is 1. Then you bring down the 2. You have 102. You ask yourself, how many times does 17 divide into 102? 6 times. You multiply 6 by 17, and you do that by 6 times 7 is 42. You put the 2 there, and you put the 4 up here. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 4 is 10. 102, it divides evenly. 102 minus 102 is 0. So there's no remainders in this question. So this is long division, dividing two constant values. Now we're going to look at correcting the homework. We looked at this lesson already, but we're going to look at it in more detail, multiplying a polynomial by a binomial. So in this case, we're working on page 157, and we're going through sample 7c. So you have x, the polynomial, x to the third plus x squared plus x plus 1, divide by x plus 1, a binomial. So it's a polynomial divided by a binomial. So we write it. The divisor is there when you're going to divide by, and you put the dividend inside the long division sign. So then you look at this question and you ask yourself, how many times will x go into x cubed? And the answer is x squared. So you put the x squared, which is a second degree term, above the second degree term x squared in your dividend. So in that case, x squared times x gives me x to the third. X squared times 1 gives me 1x squared. And then in this case here, as I did in the example of long division, the original question that I did first, I subtract the terms. X cubed minus x cubed is 0. X squared minus x squared is 0. And you bring down the x. So it's plus x. Then you ask yourself, what do you multiply x by in this divisor to give me 0? Well, the answer, of course, is 0. So you're going to multiply by 0x. So 0x times x gives me 0x squared, or 0. And 0x times 1 is going to give me 0x. Then again, I subtract these terms. X minus x is 0. Oh, sorry. 1x, x, or which is the same as 1x. X minus 0x is 1x, or x. And 0 minus 0 is 0. So then I bring down the 1. And also have to bring down the sign in front of the 1. It's plus 1. Then I look at this again. And I ask myself, what do I divide? What do I multiply this x by in the divisor to give me this x? The answer is I multiply it by 1. So 1 times x is x, and you multiply 1 times 1 is 1. Then you subtract. X minus x is 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. So your answer is x squared plus 0x plus 1. Or in other words, the answer is x plus x squared. Let's look at 7D. You have 2x cubed minus 3x squared plus 5x minus 14. And you're dividing it by a binomial x minus 2. In this case here, your dividend is 2x to the third minus 3x squared plus 5x minus 14. That goes on to the long division sign. And your divisor x minus 2 goes out front. Then you ask yourself, again, same steps every time, what do I multiply this x by in the divisor to give me 2x cubed in the dividend? The answer, of course, is 2x squared. So I put the 2x squared up here, above, in line with this x squared down here in the dividend. So 2x squared times x gives me 2x cubed. 2x squared times x gives me 2x cubed. So, excuse me, I put that here. And I take 2x squared times minus 2 gives me negative 4x squared, and I write it there. Then I subtract these terms. 2x cubed minus 2x cubed is 0 by design. Negative 3x squared minus a negative 4x squared. So when you're subtracting a negative, it becomes a plus. So in other words, 3x squared plus 4x squared gives me plus 1x squared. I bring down the 5x plus the sign, and I have 1x squared plus 5x. Again, I start over this process and I say, what do I multiply this x by in the divisor to give me 1x squared? The answer is plus 1x. And I take this plus 1x that I determined and I multiply it by each term in the divisor. 1 times x. 1x times x gives me 1x squared. 1x times negative 2 gives me negative 2x. Again, I do the same thing. I subtract. 1x squared minus a plus 1x squared is 0. 5x minus a negative 2x is 5x plus 2x is 7x. I bring down 14 and I also bring down the sign. Bring down negative 14. Then I start over again. I say, what do I multiply this x by in the divisor first to give me 7x? answer, of course, is plus 7. And then I take that plus 7 that I determined and I multiply by each term in the divisor. 7 times x gives me 7x. 7 times negative 2 gives me negative 14. Subtract the terms. 7x minus 7x is 0. Negative 14 minus a negative 14, or in other words, it's negative. Subtract the negative is plus. So negative 14 plus 14 is 0. So again, the remainder is 0. For 7e, in this case I have x to the third minus 4x plus 15 in my dividend, and then divided by this binomial x plus 3, which is the divisor. Now I look at this and I say, well, in my dividend there's an x cubed term, so it's a third degree term. Then I have a first degree term. What am I missing? So I have a 3rd degree, then I go down to a 1. I'm missing a 2nd degree term. I'm missing an x squared term. So I have to put it in there when I'm doing this long division by this method. So I have an x to the third plus, since I don't have any x squared, I just put 0x squared. It becomes a placeholder in this problem solving. Minus 4x plus 15, I haven't changed anything, just adding 0x squared as a placeholder, divided by x plus 3. Again, I put this as the dividend. X cubed plus 0x squared has to be there as a placeholder. Minus 4x plus 15. Put the long division sign, and in the front, I put my divisor. Again, start over again. Look at the first term in the divisor, and I say, what do I multiply this first term by? X. Give me x cubed. The answer, of course, is x squared. I line it up with the x squared below it, so that the degree terms are lined up. This is term of degree 2. Sum the exponents gives you the degree of the term, and this is the 2nd degree term. You line these up, and this x squared that we determined in the answer, we multiply it by each term in the divisor. X squared times x gives me x cubed. X squared times 3 gives me 3x squared. And I subtract. X cubed minus x cubed is 0. 0x squared minus 3x squared is negative 3x squared. I bring down the 4x and I bring down the negative sign. I bring down negative 4x. Start over again. What do I multiply this x by in the divisor to give me negative 3x squared? Well, it's going to be a negative. It's going to be negative 3x. So negative 3x times x gives me negative 3x squared. Negative 3x times 3 gives me negative 9x. I subtract. Negative 3x squared minus a negative 3x squared is the same as negative 3x squared plus 3x squared is 0. Negative 4x minus a negative 9x. So you're subtracting a negative becomes a plus. So negative 4x plus 9x becomes plus 5x. Bring down the plus 15. Have to bring down the sign, and you bring down the 15. Start over again. What do I multiply this x by in the divisor to give me 5x? I multiply it by 5. Plus 5. And then I take this plus 5 that I determined, multiply it by each term in the divisor. 5 times x gives me 5x. 5 times 3 gives me 15. Then I subtract. 5x minus 5x is 0. 15 minus 15 is 0. Again, in this answer, there's no remainder. Concludes this lesson on dividing polynomials by binomials. That concludes this. Page 157, we had to divide by some binomials. So we'll correct these in class.